gentlemen, tonight we bring to you stories of a nation struggling to move amid bad roads and flood disasters across the 10 regions. Floodings is once again leaving communities in Yaoundé, the Far North region and the southwest, counting their losses. Emergency aid is, however, coming in from the government of Cameroon, but Cameroonians are asking if enough is being done to prevent future disasters. Is the question from many Cameroonians across the city of Douala, but also other parts of the country. Plus, Cameroon's gold sector is coming under growing scrutiny with questions over protection figures, exports, and the revenues. According to the state of Cameroon, discrepancies between declared production and reported exports have raised concerns over under-declaration and illicit gold trafficking, as we tell you in this edition of the news. These and other interesting stories will be yours as we also take you on the deplorable state of the roads linking Bafang to another part of the west region of Cameroon. Motorists are asking for urgent actions from the government of Cameroon, but just how late are the actions expected to even come at a time when economic and social activities are hardest hit by the deplorable state of the roads? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm from Sanda, live from Douala, Cameroon. This is Equinoxe Prime Time Newscast, and of course we are live from our central news desk in the largest city of the Republic of Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, we're glad once again we're starting this time around in sports to tell you that the indomitable lionesses of Cameroon have arrived in the Republic of Cameroon. As you can see on your screens, they were received a few hours ago by Cameroonian authorities at the Yaoundé Simalène International Airport. That's in the city of Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital city. The indomitable lionesses are the reigning champions of the African women's football competition that ended yesterday, Sunday, in the North African Kingdom of Morocco. After their first ever WAFCON trophy, the Lions also didn't want to spend the second night in the North African nation. They left already on board Cameroon's state-owned airline company, Cameco, and and took off directly for the heart of the nation, the city of Yaoundé. As you can see, they were received by a mammoth crowd of supporters and Cameroonian authorities. And after their reception at the Yaoundé Simalène International Airport, the Lionesses, the champions of the African continent, are currently making their ways, or rather displaying the trophy across the streets of Cameroon's political capital city, Yaoundé, with thousands of football fans, Cameroonians lining up streets in Yaoundé to have a glimpse of the ladies who conquered the African continent as they spanked their opponents Malawi to a stunning victory in Morocco yesterday. As at now, the motorcade, the trophy, is being displayed by the Lionesses, accompanied by Cameroon's Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family, Marie-Thérèse Abena Ondwa, who was also present in Morocco. It should be recalled that she was part of a delegation of Cameroonian authorities led by Cameroon's Prime Minister, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute, also remarkably present in Morocco yesterday. And of course, with the Lions today is Cameroon's Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Chief Professor Narcisse Mole Kombi. And of course, for the first time, Cameroon's indomitable Lionesses are champions of Africa in the fourth appearance at the Women's African Cup of Nations. The Lionesses lifted the trophy in the tournament's 4th edition or 14th edition, but the tournament has also ended with many surprises, as sportsman Simas Njikan Gabriel tells us in the following report.
A maiden title for Cameroon, and it came in style. Goals from Marie-Giselle Ngamanga and Naomi Eto'o sealed a historic first ever victory for the senior women's national team. It was also the first time Cameroon scored more than 2 goals in a WAFCON final. The road to glory was tough. The Lionesses knocked out defending champions Nigeria before stunning host nation Morocco in a dramatic semi-final. Goalkeeper Michaela Bina was the hero, saving 4 penalties a first for a Cameroonian goalkeeper in WAFCON history. Across 6 matches, Cameroon scored 8 goals and conceded just 2. The 14th edition will go into the record books for more reasons. Cameroon, who qualified through the back door, became the only 4th country to win the WAFCON trophy, joining Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, and South Africa. The tournament itself was bigger than ever. It expanded from 12 to 16 nations. Prize money doubled from $1 million to $2 million. That is 1.1 billion francs CFA. A total of 33 matches produced 93 goals, an average of 2.8 goals scored per match. That makes this the most prolific WAFCON ever, surpassing last edition's 66 goals. Malawi's Tenwa Shawinga won the Golden Boot with 5 goals and 2 assists, ahead of Cameroon's Ngamanga and Zambia's Barbara Banda. No one, however, came close to Nigeria's Perpetual Quocha and her record of 11 goals in a single edition. In a shock, Nigeria missed out on both the podium and a World Cup ticket, though they still hold the record for most WAFCON goals, 237. And the biggest surprise, Malawi. They did not only qualify for the FIFA Women's World Cup, but also reached the finals. The 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations was bigger, richer, and full of surprises.
And that's all for sport now. We move on to our league story to say that from Bankolo in Yaoundé to Yagua in the Far North region and now Limbe in the Fako of the Southwest region, floodings continue to leave several communities and local inhabitants counting their losses in several parts of Cameroon, while emergency assistance is being provided by the government of Cameroon through Cameroon's Ministry of Territorial Administration. The recurrent disasters are raising fresh questions among Cameroonians about the measures in place to prevent such disasters and protect vulnerable communities. Immaculate Fogwe has more in the following report.
October 8, 2023. Bankolo in Yaoundé is devastated by floods after a dam burst, leaving at least 30 people dead, more than 50 injured, and several houses destroyed. Days later, Minister Paul Atanganji visits and distributes presidential aid. August to September 2024, Yagua and Maidanai are hit by severe floods, leaving at least 10 people dead, while roads, homes, and farmland are destroyed. The minister is back on the ground, distributing relief supplies on behalf of the head of state. August 5th, 2026, Limbe suffers another deadly flood and landslide, killing 3 people in Bende. Residents are evacuated, with the minister also visiting the affected community and providing emergency assistance. 3 disasters, different locations, but the same pattern.
That was done as the first measure to secure them where to sleep, to secure them what to eat, before, of course, the government will look into it, how to give them another area where they should build their houses, or to give them another area where they could, continue their businesses that, of course, the landslide affected.
So society actor Song Derek thinks victims need far more than emergency relief.
It has happened in Kumba, it has happened in Limbe, it's happening in Bamenda. It means there is a problem and we need planning. We need risk management measures. We need the government to take long-term measures. Sad enough, when it happens in Cameroon, the best we receive is a message from the head of state, a bag of rice, mattress, buckets, and the government goes back to sleep.
But for many victims, the crisis is far from over. Some are still stranded, with homes destroyed and basic needs unmet. As the floods continue, the question remains, beyond emergency relief, what is being done to get these families to safety and help them rebuild their lives?
And in the major reports coming up, we take you to the Bafang-Banja stretch of the road. That's the national road number 5 in Cameroon West region, which has become a veritable obstacle for motorists and also making traveling a nightmare for road users. deep craters, muddy patches, and water-filled potholes are now making the journey extremely slow and affecting economic and social activities. The people are calling on the government of Cameroon to take on urgent actions, as Innocent as it tells us in the following report.
This is the depth of the artificial lake that has formed in the middle of a section of the Bafang-Banja road. Parts of National Road number 5. This section is in a pathetic state, slowing down safe and smooth transportation.
Avant, je faisais 4 heures de temps de Douala au Bafoussam. Aujourd'hui, je fais 7 heures de Douala jusqu'à Bafoussam. Non, le terminator. Bafang-Banja, alors, il n'y a plus rien à dire.
Large craters dot the roadway, forming artificial lakes during the rainy season.
Je viens de Banja jusqu'à maintenant, jusqu'à je pars à Bafang. C'est un passe-temps tout mauvais, il y a plus mauvais. Il y a encore un cratère là comme ça en route, ça ne passe pas. Ça fait l'économie du pays et l'État doit faire son travail.
Vehicles are easily trapped, like this one, stuck in the mud after its driver tries to avoid a deep crater where the tar is rapidly disappearing. Navigating this stretch demands years of driving experience and almost gymnastic skills.
C'est terrible. On a déchargé tous les passagers là. Vraiment, on souffre. À Kecho et à Banja, la route est dégradement finie, c'est foutu. Dans tous les cas, je crois que c'est une route coupée. Moi, je crois qu'on ne doit même plus passer par ici.
Breakdowns are inevitable, leaving motorists and passengers stranded kilometers from their destinations.
J'étais dans l'obligation de laisser mes passagers partir parce que l'état de route ne permet même pas que la voiture arrive à Bafang.
Even heavy trucks are not spared. This oil tanker has been supported with tree trunks to prevent it from falling into a deep crater.
Mon collègue là est venu pour me décharger.
A makeshift deviation in front of a home offers little relief, while crops destroyed by passing vehicles have left the family disgruntled.
La conception privée devient l'axe national, alors que les corps du gouvernement sont là, ils ne disent rien. Regardez les destructions de mes biens et des biens d'autres aussi, les maïs que les gens sont en train de détruire. On me met comme ça en chemin. Alors que j'ai mes enfants, ils ne mangent pas.
Yet, many motorists continue to use this route for economic reasons, as the alternative is longer, more expensive, and itself in a dilapidated state.
From Bafoussam to here, so many potholes, so many galloping. The road is not really good.
Passengers are sometimes forced to step down and walk across the dangerous section before continuing their journey. Motorists are now calling for urgent government intervention.
Tout ce qu'on demande vraiment, c'est de refaire le plus rapidement cette route.
But for many, hope remains slim amid what critics describe as poor governance and a disconnect between authorities and the daily struggles of the population.
And that's a nation, Cameroon, on the move, which is not moving because of bad roads. And it is not just about bad roads. Corruption, too, is a problem in Cameroon. Cameroon's gold sector, for example, is coming under growing scrutiny with questions over production figures, export, and revenue. According to the state or state officials, the discrepancies between declared production and reported exports have raised concerns over under-declaration and illicit gold trafficking from Cameroon as authorities tighten oversight of a lucrative sector. Babla Jonathan spoke with an official of the Ministry of Mines, Industries and Technological Development and brings to you the following report.
The gold industry in Cameroon is at the center of a growing controversy as questions mount over how much gold the country actually produces, how much leaves its borders, and how much revenue reaches state coffers. While authorities insist on stronger controls, Discrepancies in production and export figures continue to fuel concerns over under-declaration and illicit trafficking.
Au cours de l'année 2023, nous avons eu...
In 2023, we recorded declared production of approximately 960 kilograms for mechanized artisanal mining activities, about 855 kilograms in 2024, and 520 kilograms in 2025. In 2023, the state collected close to 276 kilograms of gold, 246 kilograms in 2024, and 147 kilograms in 2025.
147 kg pour l'année 2025.
Official statistics show that based on the average gold price during those years, the state harvested about 30.5 billion francs CFA.
10 milliards de francs CFA pour 2023.
10 billions for 2023, close to 11 billion for 2024, and 9.5 billion for 2025.
9,5 milliards pour 2025.
Between 2021 and 2025, Cameroon officially recorded a cumulative export of 1,897 kilograms of gold, while international trade and partner import data estimate actual export at 46 tons. This leaves an unrecorded gap of 44 tons, valued at approximately 1,949.19 billion francs CFA, costing the state 577.51 billion francs CFA in lost revenue.
Donc il ne s'agit pas d'une perte de 2,000 milliards.
So it is not a loss of 2,000 billion, but a loss of 577.5 billion in taxes that the state will have collected.
Que devrait logiquement collecter l'État.
As part of efforts to clean up and strengthen oversight of Cameroon's gold sector, the government is stepping up tax and custom reassessment targeting operations suspected of under-declaring production or failing to declare gold output. The recovery exercise covering the 2023-2025 financial year is being carried out both domestically and abroad with the aim of recovering revenues owed the state.
As the government fights to restore order in the gold mining sector, there is also a renewed gleam of hope sweeping across the city of Marwa, that's the chief town of Cameroon's Far-North region, following the installation of Major General Joseph Nouma as the new commander of the 4th Joint Military Region. Local leaders and residents expressed strong confidence that the 65-year-old commander's extensive hands-on experience in countering Boko Haram terrorist activities will turn the tide against ongoing regional insecurity in that part of Cameroon. Malak Glory has more in the following report.
Over the weekend, the town of Marwa witnessed the official installation of a new commander at the helm of the strategic 4th Joint Military Region in the Far North. Brigadier General Nouma Joseph has officially taken command amid a tense security context.
Vous reconnaîtrez désormais pour votre chef, commandant la 4e région militaire interarmée, le général de brigade Nouma Joseph, ici présent.
The 65-year-old commander replaces Brigadier General Aga Robinson Dong. According to the mayor, Brigadier General Nouma is well known in this part of the country. His experience in fighting the Boko Haram terrorist group inspires confidence among the local population, as he is highly familiar with the realities on ground.
Son engagement de longue date dans la lutte contre Boko Haram l'a déjà familiarisé avec les réalités de notre région. Il arrive donc à Marwa en terrain connu.
A graduate of the Joint Military Academy in Yaoundé, General Noma Joseph holds a vast operational experience. He has previously served in the Presidential Guard, the Motorized Infantry Brigade and the Rapid Intervention Battalion. Given his record,
et prendre la mesure de l'ampleur du devoir qui vous attend et auquel vous devez consacrer.
The defense leadership has tasked him with remaining steadfast, determined and vigilant. He is expected to maintain high availability, strengthen his unit's internal cohesion and collaborate closely with the local population to fully restore security in the area.
De vigilance, de proximité et de détermination dans la continuité des acquis. Elles savent pouvoir compter sur le nouveau commandement.
The ceremony was chaired by Joseph Betia Somo, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense. Also present at the event was the governor of the Far North region, Midiawa Bakari. Senior government officials, military commanders, traditional authorities and regional elites.
That's all for the first part. Coming up is talking points. Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us on Talking Points. The 2025-2026 academic year in Cameroon will officially kickstart on the 7th of September 2026. That is the 2026-2027 academic year. It's going to officially kickstart on the 7th of September. That's according to information from educational stakeholders in Cameroon, and of course across the country. Preparatives are heightening ahead of this. We're talking back to school with a community leader in the conflict-stricken Southwest region. It is one of the two English-speaking regions in Cameroon that have so far had educational establishments also threatened by security issues. And now we're focusing in Kuti subdivision of the Kupe Maninguba in the Southwest region. And of course, our guest is a community leader, as I told you, or also a reverend father who is also present and, of course, has been there monitoring activities. Now, thanks, Reverend, for accepting to be guest on Talking Points tonight. We understand that Nguti operates every academic year under specific context, just like other towns and cities in the two English-speaking Northwest and Southwest region, marked by security, of course. The first question to you is just how is Nguti preparing weeks before the resumption of classes across Cameroon?
Yes, in the context of the rentrée scolaire within the environs of Nguti, I'll say that Nguti is prepared now more than ever, because a lot of preparations and sensitizations are going on at different levels of the community and the various institutions. Well enough, we are aware of the fact of the Anglophone crisis that has hit this vicinity in a very special way. And for the past years, schools have been very, very timid schooling. But thanks to the Elati Bibum, the elites of this society, of this community, they are doing a lot with regard to making sure that schools pick up the reinstatement of the various institutions. I mean, for example, as we speak, there are free holiday classes going on at the various government schools at all levels, from nursery right up to high school. I mean, all of this is put in place by these elites. And I think that there's a lot of sensitization, a lot of announcements, a lot of publicity going on with regard to the back to school. It's a wonderful thing because there is a kind of reawakening, because for the past years, it has been the order of the day. When we get into these periods, parents start to think of how they are to send their children out there to various towns, to Kumba, to Douala, to Bamenda, and all of those places. But when we look at the environment presently in Nguti, it's a different story altogether. Everyone is poising up either to the technical school, the grammar school, or to St. Andrew, or the other private schools. And there are even other new schools that have been opened this year that are planning to kickstart during this academic year. I think with all of these are all indicators. The simple fact that Ngoti is ready.
About the huge mobilization on the part of parents and the local stakeholders. We understand that during these periods, there are often threats coming from separatists or other actors. It is that parents are no longer receiving these threats, or they've decided to mind less of this and also engage on the responsibility of getting their children educated.
We cannot categorically say, because the fear of the unknown remains a reality in the human sphere. Now, these traits have been, I could dare to say, a tradition which we have experienced the past years. But one of the things which remain is the fact that the ultimate is that care and the respect for life is what is instinctive, inherent to the human system, to the human nature. And so, despite the arrangements going on and the preparations, we still remain sensitive to the threats. And we are not dismissing the fact of the insecurity, but these insecurities will not keep us stifled in the same position. We do what we have to do now, and we remain sensitive, gauging and looking at what the future brings. If it necessitates that we kickstart immediately, we shall do that with a lot of gratitude. But if it is that people should stay home, we shall stay home and then resume at the appropriate time, because safety is the watchword. You say somebody who is dead cannot go to school, or does not go to school, or somebody who is not in a good state of mind and body and spirit cannot be going to school. So we think that life and safety is of the utmost. So we remain sensitive while we do the preparations.
Understood, Reverend. Now, besides crisis, that's the context and the security crisis, some of the parents have been compelled to get their kids stay back home because of the impacts of the crisis on their economic strength. Now, as a community stakeholder, what do you tell these parents each time you get to talk to them? Understand that they are being hampered, or they are being crippled, made vulnerable by the hard economic context, and finding themselves unable to get their kids to school.
Yes. The importance of education cannot be overemphasized, because it is crystal clear that there was this usual saying that education is the key to success, which some people have struggled to counteract. Because they say that sometimes, or experience has shown, that you may go to school, children now go to school, at the end they are not employed. But education remains important. And when they understand that education is not just for the money, but for the personal self-edification, being able to relate with one another in the society, realize that education is very, very important. From my experience, I would say that there are some parents who have not come to terms with this. And so they do not prioritize the education of their children. They do not. Rather, who see their children, they reckon their children as labor force, rather than future leaders of tomorrow, or people who have to be invested in, especially with regard to their moral, academic, spiritual, and intellectual developments. So, my message to every parent is the fact that send your child to school. Send your child to school. It is the truth that not everything is learned in school, but in school, there is a formalized system where knowledge is passed across. Education can be both formal and informal. It's true, informally, a child learns from the house, from the society, and from other peers. But formally, I think education is acquired in school. And we cannot downplay the importance of that. And so when I see parents who send children to school and find it difficult to pay their fees, we admit and we acknowledge. But when you see parents who are struggling to meet up with these demands, you would know, to provide the educational needs of their children, unlike those who are just so careless who are careful. You see a parent says, okay, I don't have money to pay the child's fees or to buy the child's book. But you see that same parent in the evening in a bar giving drinks and crates of beer to others. I mean, but the child has no single book. I don't think that speaks well. That's a practical case of a situation where we say that the parent does not prioritize the education of the child. So my message to every parent is that education of the children is very important. Let us educate our children to edify them for tomorrow.
Thank you, Reverend Valentine Manyo of the Immaculate Conception Parish in Nguti. Now, finally, you are a religious leader. What's your advice to stakeholders involved in the education chain as we move gradually and steadily into a new academic year across Cameroon?
My humble advice and plea or resound is that whatever we do, we should put God first. Whatever thing we do, we should put God first. Be we administrators, be we students or teachers or parents or whosoever we are, our plea, especially during this period of the rentrée scolaire, we know past experience has taught us that sometimes it's not very easy on the part of providing for the children to go back to school, on the part of security and insecurity, on the part of, life generally. But we believe that with God everything is possible, and that is why I enjoin us all to go back to God, and then whatever endeavors we carry on, we should pray and commit them to the hands of God. And I think that God will answer us if we come to Him in faith and sincere prayers. So prayer remains the key.
Once again, thank you, Reverend. Stay blessed in Nguti in the Kupe Maninguba division of the Southwest region of Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Reverend Father Valentine Manyo. He is the parochial vicar of the Immaculate Conception Parish in Nguti. He's a community leader, and of course, he's been talking to us on just how the atmosphere is in Nguti as Nguti, like the rest of the Southwest, the Northwest, and all of Cameroon prepares to welcome a new academic year across the country. It is on the 7th of September, of course, as we told you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've had time for as far as news is concerned. Thank you immensely, and finally, for your keen attention. Continue to stay in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe. At 8 p.m., a new edition of news in the French language. I'm going to be here tomorrow at 6 p.m., God willing.